Hey guys, welcome to Gray, the podcast for those of us who are navigating this complicated world of military life alongside our partners. If you're looking for real conversations, genuine insights, and a community of seasoned mil spouses dedicated to supporting each other through every challenge, especially those WTF moments, and maybe even find a silver lining along the way, here we are. We're going to get real about the highs and lows of military life, share stories, and have candid conversations as we laugh our way through it all. Grab your headphones and settle into our corner of the internet where you're not alone. Let's gather at Gray.
Well, since the last time we jumped on the mic, both Tanya and I live in different places. She lives in a different place within the same state. I live 4 states up. I don't know how many states. Many states
I think
up.
it's more than that.
Is it?
Maybe
And
not.
and we were corroborating previously on PCS woes. This was without a doubt the worst packing team and unpacking team I have ever experienced in the 15 years that I've moved a bajillion times. We're still unpacking some things because my husband was in transition and he hadn't lived with us over the summer. He was still at a different job at Fort Liberty. And I opened a wardrobe box last week to find my hanging clothes with all of my husband's unit awards stuffed in the middle. And I was like, okay, that's where we are. This is what we're doing. We're making it happen. Anyway.
So I had the opposite experience, and I feel
She
bad
did.
saying
She
that.
had an amazing move, and we love it for her.
I had and it was like logistically probably one of the hardest, right? And that's even counting our overseas moves, just because life didn't stop. It was amazing how it all kind of just fell into place. And even though it was not perfect, because nothing in life ever is, there was a situation where the truck couldn't get down the street. And so a whole day of moving was lost to the moving gods. Our move team.
Your street or the street in Alexandria?
In Arlington, yeah.
Or Arlington, sorry.
Yeah, because the wires were too low. And so they couldn't they were going to bring in a big tractor trailer type truck, right? And just load all of our stuff straight on there. But they couldn't get it through the street because of how low the wires. It was ones that somebody had added, right? Because my move team had already scoped out I'm telling you, my move team was phenomenal. They'd already scoped out all the other stuff.
Do you want to plug your move team?
I do. It's Logza Mill Moves. And I will tell you why they're so good. Why is Logza Mill Moves, Logsa, so good? They are so good because Isabel and Wendy are veterans and military spouses. And so they are not doing this based on this is what the money's going to look like. And they're doing this based on we have experienced these many moves. We know what this is like. How do we want our stuff handled? And how do we want to handle our clients' things? Not only that, but additionally, the way that they contract out isn't just to the lowest bidder. All of the organizations that they work with are owner operated, which means which means they have skin in the game. They're not just sending somebody, you know what I mean? Everybody that is touching your items and your household goods and doing your packing and everything has their actual name and business on the line. And so they want you to have the best experience. And so they work really hard to do that. So we were supposed to be loading on a Saturday so we could deliver on Monday. And Saturday load day didn't happen. They came to my house on Sunday.
That is unheard of.
Unheard of. We're out building crates because we have some stuff that has to be created. Doing all the things, got all of our stuff loaded. Stayed late. Isabel was out there boxing stuff, building crates, doing the thing. Additionally, because they felt so bad, they brought me a gift certificate for a pedicure because they were like, we know we added stress to your move and we're so sorry about that. And I was like, are you? Yeah. When I tell you they were phenomenal, And it's not, again, It wasn't perfect. It was just the fact that they cared.
Yeah.
And this is my last piece of the plug. The reason we were able to use them is because we did it as a Diddy. And I know one of the challenges of doing a Diddy do-it-yourself move and hiring your own movers is having to come out of pocket for that, right?
Right.
And front the
Yeah.
cost. Logza gives you all the paperwork, does your move, and then lets you pay them on the back end so that you pay them when you get paid.
Well, they know the
Right.
military process. They have some guarantee. That's pretty fantastic.
Exactly. So like, just really, I cannot speak highly enough of them. They are phenomenal. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Switching gears here, we were previously talking about MIC. What is MIC?
MIC is the Military Influencer Conference, which, you guys, I've been to a lot of conferences in the last couple of years, and some of them are not fun. Some of them are fun. Some of them are really specific. MIC is probably my favorite because it brings together veterans, it brings together mil spouses, it brings together industry. The conversations are great. It's like a freaking family reunion. Like, I literally was like, oh my God, I haven't seen you. Oh my God, I haven't seen you. Oh my God, I only LinkedIn know you, but like, I feel like I know you. Let's have a conversation.
This is what you look like in real life.
Yes. Like, literally, I was like, I feel like we've met, but we've never actually met. But let's meet. Like, it was 3 days of just amazing connection and conversations, and the speakers that they bring, like, they really put on a phenomenal conference.
That's awesome. She's also leaving out a very large portion of that conference where We Are the Mighty names 25 individuals. They call it the Mighty 25, but they name 25 individuals in many, many different industries, government, nonprofit, etc., who they feel have been incredibly influential in the military community and being military champions. Our own Miss Tanya Murphy was named to the Mighty 25. So she's very conveniently leaving that out of her MIC experience at the Military Influencer Conference. But we were like proud moms, aunties, grandmas, slow clapping over here when she took the stage. She also looked fabulous. Which doesn't, that's not necessarily that important, but like this woman looked fantastic. But it was just so awesome to see her honored, to see the others around her honor her and the things that she has done and committed to. Because I'm telling you, Tanya is for real your cheerleader. Like and it was recognized that she is for real your cheerleader. I was so proud. So congratulations on being named to the Mighty 25 here in the year of our Lord 2024. And thank you. We Are the Mighty. And no, we are not getting any promotions or anything for saying this. We're just bringing it to light in another forum. But so proud of you. Well deserved.
Thank you. I keep telling people, I'm like, people don't really realize this about me for some reason, but I think I'm one of the most awkward people in the world. So awkward. And you're right. I love cheering for everybody else. And I love seeing the amazing things that other people do because it's so impactful and it's so big. And I think that a lot of times the accomplishments and the achievements are diminished because there's this sense of, well, I only, or I just, or you know what I mean? And that is so unnecessary. It's people should really shout their achievements and accomplishments from the rooftops because it's really amazing the things that you can do when you really put your time and your effort to it. Like all super awkward people, I'm really good at telling others to do that and really terrible about doing it myself. Yes. Because in my head, I'm like, I didn't do the thing. I just championed the thing or cheered the thing on or like told someone else about the thing.
What we're talking about is the actual permission to brag on yourself and highlight the effort that you've done, and you deserve your flowers. Absolutely. And I think that is also, in my opinion, something that's been instilled in military significant others and spouses, that you're almost ingrained to take the back seat, right?
Yeah.
Take the back seat to all in a support role in so many different ways in the military, even in your job, like somehow your job, what you're doing, what you're accomplishing, what you're doing in the community also somehow becomes the back burner support moment. And that is another reason that what you're saying is so important, because what you're doing on the day to day means something. It is changing people's lives, even if it's the people you made. It's changing your life as well. It's changing your perspective. And I think we have to have agency for that. We have to have space for that. And we have to call it out, which is what we're doing.
You're right. You're right. And it's so funny because it's, I don't know, like there's this sense of wanting to shine the light on others and other places, because the truth of the matter is it's the mighty 25, but you guys, like, there are so many people out there that I'm like, do you know how this person's killing it?
Yeah.
Do you know what this, like, have you heard about this? And people don't know. I think that was one of the a conversation that I had repeatedly at Nick was about not just what people are doing or how they're doing it, but how do we amplify that? How do we amplify those stories? How do we find those moments and get the connection in the different mediums, right? To really make sure that we're reaching this to all the different corners of our community, right? Because not everybody's reading the articles. Not everybody's like cruising LinkedIn to see what's going on. I met so many people last week, again, who like I've known on LinkedIn, but like getting to actually meet them and talk about some of these things. Kate Harrell, she does military finances and finances in general. Met her and was like,
"Ooh, I need her number."
Listen, Kate and I was like, Kate, these are like, I was like, you saw this one question I asked. Here are some additional questions and some additional issues that I want. And she's like, absolutely, let's team up and work together and like get some stuff done. Jennifer Barnhill, she's phenomenal, right? She does what is it? It's military table conversations, but there's another word in there and I can't remember.
Dinner.
Right?
I thought it was
dinner conference. Yeah. Maybe it's dinner conversations. She and I were talking about
Jennifer, we're sorry. We will link you and you can correct everyone.
Yes, Jennifer, I promise I'll fix it. You know, listen, I had tea this morning instead of coffee. Forgive me, guys.
We're not sure why.
But like, you know, she and I had conversations about like, what are some of the challenges? How do we team up the data that she is so phenomenal at collecting and then get it out in all these different ways? Because again, people aren't always reading the articles. They're not doing this. They're not doing this. And so having it across multiple formats and multiple areas is just so important.
I think it's so hard on the day-to-day. Like I was thinking this week, so y'all know I have 3 boys, and last year we brought a puppy who's turning a year old, by the way, in 3 weeks.
Oh,
she's no longer tiny. We are doing sports 5 days a week, 6 days a week this week. Just thinking about that, you're like, people aren't looking at the articles, they're not perusing LinkedIn. Sometimes it's just dadgum capacity to do it. It's not that you're not seeking it out. It's just, when are you sitting your butt in a chair in front of your phone or in front of your computer to be able to seek out the information you need? And I love the perspective of, and I think maybe we think about doing this regularly moving forward, as we love to highlight other military spouses that are doing these types of incredible things, that we will start highlighting them and tagging them for resources. I think that's great.
Yeah, I'm ahead of you. Jennifer has already said she'll come on and we'll do some conversations.
Jennifer, we're tagging you in next week.
Kate is gonna join us for some stuff. Like I'm telling you, like I was like, you guys, this is the intention for me. Absolutely. When we talk about Gray, it's not just getting us through the really crazy moments and transitions and hard things, but it's also using it as a platform to be able to highlight where are the resources and have those people come in and share and tell what they're doing and how they're doing. Kayla Corbett in childcare and Austin Carrick and exceptional family members. Like there are people out there that are working very hard for our military families, and their work is phenomenal and their resources that they have are amazing, and people just don't know. You see the question every day, where can I find? So then we need to just keep sharing, right? In as many ways as possible. So absolutely. Bridging the gaps, doing the transitions.
So good.
Speaking of transition, so like you said, we both have moved. this has been an interesting move for us because we had not moved in about 5 years, which is
That's like the
forever.
holy grail. Yeah.
I mean, we did geobatch in order to make that happen. So like, and it was just this is probably our shortest move because it was literally just down 95. And it was to a place that we've been before and where we know
Mm-hmm.
people. So I was like, oh, this will be nothing. Easy peasy. And in many ways, it has been, really good and not terribly stressful. But one of the things that I think I really failed to account for is A, transitioning kids who are teens.
Mm.
So my middle one's having a tough time with the transition. My little one is kind of too, my 12-year-old, but like just in a different way. And I think part of that is because he's a COVID kid, honest to goodness. Like I think he just has somewhat forgotten what it's like to like be outside with people outside of school and things like that. Um, but then also the loss of community,
So hard.
right? And it's not that I don't know people here. I do know people here, right?
Not
Like I
the
have
same.
friends here,
Yeah.
but it's not the same. And the friends that I have here, and if you guys are listening, know that I love you. You know that I love you. But they're not my friends who I'm like, I can call you in the middle of the night and know that you'll show up at my house. You know what I mean?
It's like it's also I was talking to my husband about why there are many times that I don't reach out. I'm a natural gatherer. We're Tanya and I are both very extroverted people. Ha, shocking.
Surprise.
But we've also talked previously about it gets exhausting when people don't know you. And when I say they don't know you, they don't have any history with you.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't
Mm-hmm.
known you for long enough to know your journey, really, your kids' journey, these things.
You have to be on.
You have to be on. And that gets so exhausting. And so I know personally, I retreat. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just do our day to day. I call my bestie, thankfully, who's a train right away now. Yay. And other things like that. And so we moved back to a place we also had lived before, but we had lived here when our kids one was born here, so little babies. And we know people in the community, but this is also, and I don't know if Tanya, where you are is the same, but this is also a community where half of it is like your grandparents and your parents, and you all went to the same high school and you're a known name. And so you're also coming into a community where even if they don't all know each other, their parents have known each other or their grandparents have known each other. And everyone's really kind. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that. I mean, like honestly, everyone is so kind, so welcoming, walk right up to you and start a conversation. I don't think it's that type of hurdle, but again, if I'm going to have an emergency,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to call my best friend who's an hour away to see if she can jump up here and help. And that is rough. That is,
Yeah.
it feels like your safety net has been
Yeah.
released and
Yeah.
you're trying to almost like knit it again.
Yeah. Because I was in a place where my best friend was 20 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And now she's 3 hours and 20 minutes away. And she's got her 3 boys and, she's got her. And my neighbor across the street was always available to me, because I didn't know her that long. Like we lived there 2 years. Right.
Yeah.
But like, my kids could go over there anytime they needed. She would watch my boys. She would check in. The neighbor next door on each side would check in. I was in a neighborhood very similar to what you're talking about, right? In Arlington, because it's such a mix in Northern Virginia of people that have been there forever and those of us who are transient and coming in and out.
Yep.
And I landed in like what could only be described as like Mayberry, in the heart of like these really phenomenal people that immediately adopted us and just really loved on us and got us through geobatching and me working full time and traveling. And now I'm here and I know some of my neighbors. I'm starting to meet more of them. A lot of them have lived here literally, like they built their houses and
Mm-hmm.
have lived here since then, right? And so they kind of have their established things. And so it's like, it feels like having to kind of like break into a new clique a
Sure.
little bit.
Like the club. Yeah.
Yes. We went and we booed a bunch of people last night, which PS you guys, I don't know if you know
That's
what
so
booing is.
fun.
It's like a really fun like October thing. You fill a little bag with treats and you leave a little note that says you've been booed and you leave it on their porch, and it's supposed to be super secret and anonymous. And I realized that it's not so secret and anonymous because everybody has a Ring doorbell. So they're all
I
going to
didn't
know
know where
it was
you
us.
were going. Where you were going with that.
Yeah.
Did not even think about it because you said it, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good idea. I should do that for some of my neighbors." No, I'm not doing it and being on the Ring. I'm not doing it.
Listen, I made my kid run up and do it, and he was like, "Do I ring the doorbell?" And I was like, "It's 10 o'clock at night. No, just leave it on the porch." And I'm like, "But the Ring is going off anyway, so it's totally fine." So neighbors, thanks for letting us like leave stuff on your porch in the middle of the night. You know, you'll know who it was. It was the new kids. But you know, so our house had. Are we using the one that was here? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, we not only have one on our doorbell, on our front door, we have one on our driveway.
Okay, why?
Because it was there when we moved in, and we just didn't change it.
I'm like, do we need to? Are we paranoid? Are we?
No, it was there when we moved in, and we were like, okay, cool, we'll keep it. However, remember when my mail got stolen?
Oh yeah,
right. So our driveway one doesn't reach out to our mailbox because otherwise it would be going off every time a car drove past. That'd be kind of annoying. But I have other neighbors whose cameras like caught the whole situation because there's so many Ring doorbells in this neighborhood. But unfortunately, nobody got a clear picture of the plate.
Of the plate?
Yeah, because the plate was on the back.
Okay, so she's referring to it. I'll give you a top level. So Tanya was literally trying to vote. VOTE, vote. Vote. This woman, all she did was put her mail-in ballot.
Not even my ballot. You guys, here's the worst part.
Oh, it's the one that, you have to do before.
First of all, do your civic duty and vote.
Yes.
Guys, like there's so few opportunities for us to use our voices to influence our communities this way. So make sure that you're voting. If you are voting absentee or your military family that's living somewhere that's not where you're voting, visit fvap.gov, I believe is the website. If you want more information, check out Secure Families Initiative. They're a military nonprofit that does amazing work to ensure that military families hold on to their civic rights and are able to be involved in their government. So Secure Families Initiative, really phenomenal resource. So I was sending in my registration because for Tennessee, I vote in Tennessee, that's where my residency is. You have to register and request your ballot for every single election. They don't hold on to your information, right? So I was sending it in, put it out in my mailbox. And here, guys, like legitimately, I had 3 separate moments where I was like, is this really what you want to do? Maybe you should just take this to the post office. And every time I was like, who's going to steal the mail out of your mailbox, Tanya? That's stupid. Like, you're being weird. So I put it out in my mailbox, put my little flag up so my mail can go out. Y'all, somebody came up and stole it out of my mailbox. And the problem with this is it had my date of birth. It had my social security number. It had my name. I don't know if you guys know this, but military families are already more susceptible to identity theft and having information stolen. So now my credit is frozen across all the bureaus. I already had a watch on my account from the last time the DOD had our information hacked. But yeah, so they stole it. But good news, got it emailed in, got my ballot, got it printed out, and I dropped it at the post office this time so that they wouldn't steal my vote. So my vote counted.
It's one of those situations where you have a moment where it's like, if it's going to happen to someone, why is it Tanya? Because I feel like it always is.
Hello, I don't know if you guys know this. My last name is Murphy. Murphy's Law is alive and well in my life. I blame my husband.
Oh my gosh.
Every time I'm like, sir, this is you. You did this. You did this to me. Yeah.
I'm glad that your vote is still going to be counted because it is an important one.
I worked very hard for it. I really did. I was mailing it in and I was talking to my best friend and she was like, are you paying postage? Like, you shouldn't have to pay postage. And I was like, ma'am, I am doing whatever I have to do to get this vote in because I have worked very hard for this. So like, I'm going to pay my little $5.83, get this envelope to Shelby County and get my vote counted. Like, that's all I need. Please let my vote get to Tennessee. So
amazing.
This is also the first election that my oldest child is voting in.
Oh,
How crazy is
cool.
that?
I remember the first time that I voted, I was in college and I was like a little terrified for some reason, but that's awesome that
Because
he
it
gets
feels
to.
like such a big responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, it's weird having a kid old enough to vote. It's weird having an adult kid, period. But
Ooh, side
doing
note.
it.
I was being asked this. So I have 3 boys, and the youngest I call the baby. He's not a
As do
baby,
we.
but I call him the baby, and she calls hers the baby. And I've been getting pushback
From who?
that it family, mostly family, other family members that are like, "Why do you call him the baby?"
Because he's the
I'm like,
baby.
"'Cause he's the caboose, and I made him." Is there a
So
problem here? Can I continue to call this child the baby?
listen, my child will forever be called the baby. We all
Okay.
call him the baby. Okay. And he had a very clear conversation with me, with all of us. He was probably like 4 or 5. And he's like, Mommy, I'm not a baby, but I'm the baby. And I was like, yup. And that's how we rolled. My mom called him the baby. And she called him the baby because he was the youngest grandbaby of his like generation. Because we now have my mom has passed, but she had great grandbabies, right? But he was the youngest grandbaby. So,
Oh,
yeah. So she called him the baby because he's the fucking baby. He's the baby. Always,
okay.
always.
Good. I feel better.
Yeah.
Not that I like, more I ask for advice most of the time and I still do what I'm going to do. I'll be honest about that.
Respect.
But I still would like a crowdsourced response.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. I'm the youngest in my family, and I still refer to myself as the baby. Y'all, I'm in my 40s, but I'm the baby. Because, like,
You missed her face, is why I'm laughing.
yeah, my mom was the baby. My mom was the youngest of 8, and she was the baby. Like, that's what happens when you're the baby of the family. You're forever the baby. That does not change. At least in black houses, that's how it is. I assume all houses work like black houses, but I know they don't. But like,
I
in my
don't
head,
think they do.
as always.
We are going to wrap it up today.
Oh
Next
my gosh.
podcast, we will have a special guest. We do not have that person identified because, quite honestly, our list is really long, and I think we're having decision fatigue. Or no, not fatigue, paralysis.
I mean, like,
I mean,
it's
both.
it's both. Let's be real. Like, because as you guys know, life continues to life. We both work, we both parent, we
Mm-hmm.
both do all the things. And this is our fun spot.
It
And
is.
so, like, the fun spot, like, it's enjoyable, but also there are decisions that have to be made and things that have to be done. And, like, also that's exhausting because I also had to figure out what was for dinner last night. So, like,
No, we like if we don't say that at least one time in a podcast, like somebody call us out because we need to continue to call out that for some reason it is our responsibility to always figure out what is for dinner.
I will say, I will give credit to my family where it is owed. This week, I sat in the kitchen and I said, okay, seriously, what do people want for dinner this week? And my middle child, so we cooked 3 out of 5 days during Monday through Friday, right? One day we eat out because the kid has a writing thing and we're out late, and Fridays are pizza day. So like we don't.
Yeah.
But I sat there and I said, what do you people want to eat? Because I'm tired. And my middle child picked 2 meals for this week. 2. Mm-hmm. And helped cook.
Ooh.
Yeah. He helped cook last night. And then my husband actually cooked one night.
Ooh,
Tuesday
love
night.
that for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it was a...
I should caveat, my husband's very willing to cook. He's just not here.
Yeah.
That sounded really snarky I needed to like clarify. I needed to clarify that.
It's okay, Brian. We know you're willing to help. We love you, Brian.
He's a great helper. He's a great partner.
He does good stuff, I swear.
He does good things, I promise. So, and we will, now that we like name dropped or service dropped a million
We'll tag it all.
Tag it all so
Tag it
you
all.
all can have easy access to all of the people and resources who we think are phenomenal and happening on a regular basis. And we will add that as a regular thing to do on these podcasts because we want those resources to be readily available. I know in our time in serving in the veteran service space as well as military spouses, we are blessed to have a really broad knowledge. And we are still learning every day more and more of those, which is fantastic. And we want to bring them to you as easily as we can. Any,
Absolutely.
what is it? What do they say? Saved rounds? Or is that just Army? That's not Navy.
That's absolutely an Army thing. I mean, like, I understand what it means, but like, no, we don't say
Alibis? Do you say that?
No.
What do you say in the Navy?
I don't know.
You got to ask Scotty. They have a phrase. Maybe alibis is Marines. Don't come at me. Do not come at me.
I mean, I'm sure they have something, but
I do still need you to ask Scotty though, because I think they have a phrase.
I will ask him. He did tell me something that's going to be a stupid sin. I was like, he told me something one time about like a thing that they do, but I totally forgot. I brain dump a lot of what he says. Don't tell him I said that.
It goes into a specific compartment.
I'm like, okay, that is like, it's in the moment. I'm like, oh, that's funny. I kind of like that. And then I'm like, I don't know what that was. I forgot. My bad.
As per usual, it's taken us an extra 3 minutes to wrap this up.
My bad.
But we love you. We love to hear from you. And we will talk to you soon. I do have an alibi or whatever you want to call it. In the coming weeks, we're going to share a lot of the things that we have already recorded and the topics that we have talked about over the past year as a lead up to really launching a regular cadence of chatting with more mil spouses, military significant others, etc., as well as organizations and resources. So with that, we shall say
thanks for joining us, guys. We will see you next time. Hear you next time. Chat with you next time.
Chat.
Bye.
Sure. That's a wrap on this week's episode. Thanks for joining us. And we look forward to continuing to provide a space to get real about both the challenges and the beautiful moments of living this military life. We hope you find support and, of course, some laughs. Remember to follow us on the socials and don't be afraid to join the conversation. Until next time, this is Gray.